And I'm just looking at what you said here. Like, I'd imagine if I was going to hire an AV or an EV when I was going overseas at the first, or going anywhere, the first thing I check is what are the availability of the public charging points around the country. And like and would you see that is having an effect, that the lack of, like the really bad lack of availability of charging points, public charging points around the country, particularly in tour spots, like I live, we'll say, in Sligo, and all our major hotspots, there's no charging point there. So, you said that most of the tourism is coming from Dublin. It's not even that. It's when you arrive in your destination, if there's nowhere to charge your car, it would stop you from hiring an EV, I would imagine. And then it's going to affect the residual value then of the cars if you're sitting on cars that aren't being used. And I'm just wondering, when you are advertising, when people are coming to rent cars to you, is that one of the first considerations that tourists would say to you? What is? I mean, they probably would have not done the research themselves, but is that affecting you in a big way?
Yes, absolutely, Senator, and thanks for the question. It has to be noted that tourists don't have driveways, so we're entirely reliant on publicly available charging infrastructure. And I'd split the issues into two. First of all, there's the availability, and then second, there's the reliability. And in terms of availability, I see a recent report from UCC published in the Irish Times showing that other than Malta, Ireland has the lowest level of publicly available infrastructure in the EU. Now, we deal very regularly with SEVI on this, and I have great faith in what SEVI will eventually achieve. They've put an enormous amount of effort into the planning and the rollout of this. It's very user need based, and we would be confident that ultimately we'll get there in terms of the publicly available charging infrastructure. But there are two elements to that. The first is en route. So the motorways, I think we'll see a very significant improvement this year. Same on primary roads. Destinations might take longer. Research we carried out last year showed that of all of the key tourism destinations in the country, only 20% had any charging infrastructure.
Which is bizarre.
And so we have quite the way to go there. And the second issue that I mentioned, as I say, is reliability. We do have many anecdotal cases where people have got stranded due to the fact that fast chargers in particular, and it's fast chargers typically the tourists need, are not operating. So
it makes sense until those public infrastructure is rolled out, that's obviously going to affect you in a big way.
Yeah, and it regularly does. We have cases of customers who booked an EV changing their mind at the desk in Dublin Airport because they've read in the meantime about the lack of charging infrastructure.
Yeah. No, so thank you. Okay.